I think the hardship policies are important because as a moving to work agency, we're changing policy and we're changing benefit potentially that someone had been receiving. And so with that, needing to see how we can be assisting them if for some reason they're seeing a reduction in benefit. Obviously, people don't complain if it's going to increase what they're receiving, but in the case where something is reduced, usually that is a problem, a perceived problem. And so therefore the hardship policy became important because we were moving beyond potentially what they had been experiencing previously if they were already a program participant. So this gave them an avenue to ask questions, to potentially challenge an activity, to challenge the outcome for them personally, and to be able to then work through that with them. So in developing the hardship policies, we were looking at community involvement in each step. So in developing a moving to work activity, part of that was working with the stakeholders in our community because we have very close working relationships with our community partners. And so looking ahead with them and helping them to see what was coming gave us a good insight into what potentially program participants might be experiencing, and then to be able to look to see in a broad base what that would look like, what that effect might be, and then be able to address that and develop a policy. In working with it, with our rent reform, we set the threshold at a very low number. So if their rent was going to go up $25, for you or me, that might not seem like a lot of money. For a family that is needing housing assistance, that can be a lot of money for them. So in looking at that, we created a hardship policy where if their rent portion was going to change more than $25, anybody could call in and say, hey, my rent's going up too much. I want to have a hardship review. So it was designed so that our staff could easily do that and determine, was their hardship a result of some personal circumstance that they had? Did they get a new job? Did they add a new household member? And that was the reason for the increase in their rent portion? Or was it really because of the moving to work activity that we had instituted? So staff could easily make that determination, see it on paper, and say to the family, you know what, I see that this is the result of moving to work. So we're going to go ahead and give you another recertification period to see how you want to address that or handle it. So they had up to 12 months, sometimes 24 months, depending on the composition of the family, that they could make that decision, make that determination, make an informed choice, and then if they were going to stay where they were, knowing that they were going to pay $25 more per month or more, or choose to move to something else that would not have that additional cost to them. But that was then their choice to make, and they had the tools and the data that they needed to make that choice.